Hello, students. Uh, how are you today? How is everything? Our topic for today is database. But in our last class, we talk about computer virus. No, in our last class we talked about digital divide, which I said is just like the barrier between those that are living in the old community and the new old economy and new economy. And also we also mentioned some or some I shown some videos to you which shows old economy and new economy, which were able to determine the kind of technology or the level at which they have access to technology. So that is what led us to criteria in determining digital divide, which I mentioned the level at which they have access to internet, the level at which they have access to or they make use of computer, and also the kind of phone they're using. Also determine the level, as in the level, the criteria for mentioning digital divide. Well, today we are going to talk about database. So, as we all know, before the use of database, we have some other way that we keep that help us to document our data and some other things. So before I will define database, let's go to what we understand by or what is the meaning of data itself. Because everything in a database is just data, is just full of data. So as a result of that, we need to we need to define data first. We need to define information. From there, we will be able to get the definition for database. So now, a definition for data, data is just a raw fact or figure. Is anything at all that does not, convey meaning, or that, that you cannot deduce something meaningful from it, is what we call data. So from the definition that you have on the screen, is a collection of raw facts and figures. Also, you can also define it as a raw material that can be processed by any computing machine. It's also a collection of facts conclude which conclusion may be drawn. That is, once you have data, you know, you can use to determine some certain things. So as a result of that, it's you draw conclusion from that fact. So also data can be represented in a form of numbers and words which can be stored in a computer language. Sorry for that. And we have example of data which is pan sign and answer 007. Apart from that, we have symbols. Symbols also is a data. And also, if you look at the images, the image we have beside on your screen right now, you will see that we have some facts there in form of pictures, but as it is not organized. You cannot, as a result that is not organized, you cannot really deduce something meaningful from it. It's just like when you pack, numbers, in solid form. When you pack it in nylon, everything are just together. As a result of that, you cannot really deduce something meaningful from that. So as a result of that, you will say that is a data. That is data. So uh, if you process this, if you try to arrange this image, as you can see from that image, we have 5. You can see 5. I can see S, letter S, number 6. I can see plus sign, and I can see number 3, letter Z, both uppercase and lowercase. If you arrange this from A to Z, or from 0 to 9, or these symbols there, if you arrange it properly, at a point, it will mean a lot of sense to you. So for that, you will say that the data has been processed. It has been processed in such a way that is now making sense to you. So that leads us to the definition of information. So from what I said earlier, if you see from the picture we have there, you will say that ABC, that is the letters, has been arranged, the numbers has been arranged. So which means that this is information. They are in alphabetical order. The numbers start from 1 to 9. The letters start from A to Z. So we can say that this is alphabet number, the alphabet letters. These are numbers. So we can define information as a processed data. Information is a processed data. If you process data, it will turn to information, and it will um, it will make sense to you. Another example I can give you concerning data and information is that if you, assuming you have been with you are with your mom, why she, all the way from the market, she could get what she needs to, use for cooking and all. You will agree with me that she will need to buy different things. Like for instance, now maybe she want to prepare like egusi soup, for instance. She will need to get uh, the leaf, the egusi, and some other things like that. All these leaves, egusi, stockfish, fish, meat, pomo, and all these are what we call data. They are data in the sense that these are raw. They are raw. They are raw. So for the fact that they are raw, and we cannot just put ordinary pomo inside a plate without being processed and say that you want to be using it to eat a swallow, maybe eba or semo or any other thing. So as a result of that, if your mom or you yourself, if you have processed this, you prepare the soup in such a way that everybody, would like to have taste of what you prepare. We call your soup, we call it information. Your soup is information, while every other thing, when they are individuals, and every other individual stuff you have there, when you have not processed them, we call them that data. So I can define information as a systematic and meaningful form of data. It's also knowledge acquired through study or experience. For instance, now, if you have not prepared soup before, you've not prepared any soup before, then tell me how you'll be able to prepare this soup. You just wanted to mix everything together. At the end of the day, you'll be the one that will eat it. So that is why we say that knowledge acquired through study or experience. That is for you to have information, for you to be able to process data to information. You need to have knowledge of what or how you can do it. The information help human being in their decision making. So then what is database? What is database? You see, this collection of information or a group of records is what we refer to as a database. In your everyday life, you work with database one way or the other, but you might not really realize it. One of the way you work with your database is at least almost all of you have a smartphone with you. Even if you don't have a smartphone, you have phone with you, which you try as much as possible almost every time to retrieve numbers from there. That is one. And also you also make use of uh, some other things that are related to database, which is query. For instance, now, if you want a name of a particular friend, or maybe it's not in your dial call, and you know it's in your contact, what are you going to do? You go to search and type the name of that person. Before you finish typing the name, the details of that person will come up. Is as if that you query the database. So for the fact that you query the database, it means you are working with the database almost every day. So we call that database. Also, another example of database is dictionary. Dictionary is a collection of information. It holds the meaning of words. So, and these words, they have they follow the same almost the same pattern. That is, they are arranged in alphabetical order and all. Then another example is airline database. We have student database. We have library. Library is also another example of database. Is another example of database simply because we have different kind of data. We have different kind of books, which which we have them in a particular place, which we call the library. So as a result of that, we refer the library as a database. So as I said, database is a collection of related records. Related records in the sense that, uh, well, we will get there, because before I can be able to explain what we mean by a group of related records, we know what is called data type. So maybe when I explain data type, then I will now come back to that particular word. But what I want to get right now is a repository of logical related and similar data. Logical related and similar data. Related and similar data is just the key words there. So take note of that word. So then to some of you, you will have this in mind that why do we need this database? Can't we just can't we just write on paper with the aid of pen or pencil and keep this somewhere? Fine, you can do that. But I would like to tell you that if you are still doing that right now, I don't really know what to call that. But just imagine that we are still making use of diary. Like you still have your diary. Just tell me if you are searching for a particular word, you're searching for a particular word or a particular contact. Maybe in your diary, what you have there is just the contacts of people around you, which you have up to like 1,000 contacts. So then you're now looking for the name of a particular person. How long will it take you to retrieve the number of the phone number of that person? It can take you hours if care is not taken. Hours, most especially if you have not been calling the person before. It will take you hours because we need to browse the book from page to pages, and all. So before you realize, you spend almost a day there. So I believe that's we explain the reason why we need to make use of databases and why databases, not file folders, pencil, and to store data. No. So as a result of that, I would like to explain what we mean by file system of storing data. File system of storing data. File system of storing data is just like diary that I mentioned earlier. Like if you go to offices, you will see, if most especially if it is offices that they are operating like 50% file system of doc of storing data and 50% electronic way of storing data. You realize that they will definitely have a particular room for the 50% file system of storing data, because they will need to be storing the data in there. They will need to be storing the file, the folders, everything in there. And before you realize, the room will turn to something else. You will see cobwebs here and there. Even to retrieve a particular record, it might take decades before they can do that. They will need to get laborer. They will need to get, laborer to do that. So as a result of that, it will take so much time. So it will take so much time. So that is what we are trying to avoid in the aspect of, that is what database is helping us to avoid. So as a result of that, let's quickly answer this. The problem with traditional file storage, which is also called file system of storage, is also called traditional file storage. One of the problem we have with that is that data quantity are increasing at alarming rates. This means that if you are to be writing for less than a year, you have to be, keeping your folder for less than for years. Let me say 2 years. You realize that you have a very big wardrobe, very big one, that you'll be keeping those files. So as a result of that, it should be occupying space. So that is why we say data quantity are increasing at alarming rate. There is what we call data redundancy. Data redundancy is just like duplicates of data, duplicate of data. This is when you will have different folder, different files with the same content. It will get modified. Sorry, it will be duplicating. Like you will have one in another folder, you will have another one in another folder. Before you know, you will be getting like many duplicates. It will be repeating itself here and there. So for us to avoid that, we need to make use of a database. Okay. So we also have data inconsistent. Data inconsistent, consistency, it means correctness. That is, data inconsistent means data incorrect, as in the data will not be correct. It will not tally with each other. For instance, now I have, from what we mentioned earlier, from data redundancy, that is duplicate of data. I have one in folder A, I have a file in the folder A, I have another file in folder B. So you realize that in some cases, I will be updating folder A, the files in folder A, which I will not remember to update the one in folder B. So as a result of that, if the two folder, if they are not the same, the content in the two folder, if they are not the same, we call it data inconsistent. Apart from that, you can also follow the definition that we have on the screen, which says that same attributes, that is same heading of a table, has different value. Okay, they will have different value. For instance, now I want to keep the file of a student in tabular form. I have student name, student ID, student age. You see, at a point, I might have another thing that's different from the other folder. So, or different application different application may be used. Hence, one piece of data may be formatted may be formatted in a different way. So as a result of that, we call it data inconsistent. So lack of integrity. Lack of integrity in the sense that it should be easy for a human being, since you know that we human beings, we are bound to make mistakes. Okay. As a result of that, it reduces the integrity. If the data redundancy has occurred uh, uh, in a folder, also there is data inconsistent, then we can say that that data file lack integrity. That is, we cannot use that kind of data for decision making. So another point is lack of data sharing and availability. Okay, for instance, now we have, as it is, let me use NTI as an example. We have one branch in Lagos, we have another one in Abuja, we have another one in Kano. So let's assume that the branch in Kano, Abuja, they need a file or a folder from the branch in Lagos. How do you think they can get it across? If it is far away or traditional file storage, is either they send someone here to pick the file, or Ogun will send someone to Abuja and Kano to, give them the file. So as a result of that, it lack data sharing, and also the availability is not equally there. So another point is data that is poor security. You see, in the process of trying to transfer the file from one location to the other, anything can happen to the file. So that's why we say that it lack poor security. Okay, thank you. Then, then next slide. What is data? What is DBMS? So DBMS it stands for Database Management System. Just like as you have file system, the opposite or the electronic form of file system is what we call DBMS. I know you will be saying that what is different between DBMS and database? First of all, DBMS means database management system. The system that manages database is what we call database management system. Database management system is a software. It's a software system for creating, organizing, and managing database. So is a software that we use to manage this. You see, this software will be the one to organize it. It will be the one to create the database. Also, apart from that, it will also manage the database. So as a result of that, it's make it so easy, to do anything we need to do at all with the database. It provides an environment to the users to perform operation on database, like creation. If you want to create database, it's very, very easy. If you want to insert some record, maybe we have new staff that needs to enter the database, we use insertion, we use insertion to do that. Then deletion, then maybe there is a particular staff that resigned that we need to remove his record. That is when we can make use of deletion. And updating, maybe before I started working with NTIC, you don't have a particular attribute, but as time goes on, you were able to achieve a particular you were able to upgrade yourself in one way or the other. Then you'll be updated, then retrieve of that data. Then it's just like as you retrieve contact from your phone, so as we retrieve information from the database. So That is what we call retrieval of data. Then we have example of database, which is Microsoft Access. Microsoft Access is just the most popular, the most used a database management system. We have SQL, we have MySQL and all. So as a result of that, I just mentioned these three example of database. So then in database, there is database help us to control redundancy. There won't be anything called redundancy. That is, there won't be repetition of data. If we have entered the data before, it depends on the design of the database. The database should be able to prompt you that, oh, so record has been there. Do you want to erase it, or do you want to update it, or do you want to merge it? And all. It's just like when you have a file in your flash, then you want to copy the same file to it. So it will ask you, do you want to merge it or you want to erase the previous one? So as a result of that, it's trying to control data redundancy. Then it eliminates inconsistent, that is, it eliminates incorrectness in the data. Then uncoupled program and data. It also enables organization to centrally manage data and data security. So as I mentioned earlier, if we have another branch in Lagos, another branch in Abuja, another branch in Kano, you see, if both of them, three of them, if they want to share that data, it's just to log into the database and retrieve the data they want to. This will keep the confidentiality of that data, and as a result of that, there will be data security. The data in the database will be secure because it will not be open to any other person apart from you and anybody that you want him or her to see the data. So in real life, data are widely used in almost every aspect of life. In almost every aspect of life. One of it is the phone. The phone I mentioned earlier. But in the banking system, have you tried to imagine that you go to Sokoto, you enter a bank and tell them that you want information or you want to update your information. They allow you to do that. Then you go to another state again. You are still able to do the same thing. So it's simply because they are operating centralized form of data. That is, from any branch, you can be able to access any data since the database has been centralized. So also in the traveling, in reservation of airline ticket and all, or to manage reservation of airline, So as a result of that, in those two places, I just use the two as an example when we are to relate to real life scenario. But I will bet you that there is no aspect of life that they are not making of database. Then what are database terminologies? You see, I try as much as possible to help you, to try to put these five things together, these 5 points. Well, if you look at it, is even more than five. This is almost uh, uh, we have 3, 3, 3, 9, 11, 12. This is almost 12 words, 12 words, which I try to group them, of which is not known to some people that field attribute column, they are the same thing. You see, it's just like as we have it in Excel, Microsoft Excel. Database, it's always in tables and it's always in a table form. Not always. It can be in a table form or in a diagram form. So the aspect we are talking about right now is just the table form. The heading of a table. The heading of a table is what the column of a table. As column of a table is what we refer to as an attribute. Like for instance, now I have student name, student age, student ID. Each one of these columns is what we refer to as a field or an attribute. So that's what I define as the column in a table that store individual data such as name, address, and phone numbers. So is what referred um, to as field, attribute, or column. Also, there is a table. There is the table itself. The table itself is what you call, is how you call it a table, you call it a relation, and you call it, or you call it a file. Okay, so it's a collection of information organized in a field, records, and data value. Okay, it is made up of rows and columns. Okay, the one I wanted to get here, which is the one that is mostly used in terms of database terminology, is the relation. Is the relation. So take note of the relation. Then the first one, which is field, attribute, column. Attribute is the mostly used. Then the third one, which is record, rows, and tuple. You see, is that how you call it record or tuple? Okay, so the layman language is, they are the one that refers to as row, but normally is supposed to be record or tuple. Is a collection of related fields, related fields. So if I'm to, if I'm to get a name about a particular student, the details about the particular student, it will tell me the age, the age of that student, the name, and admission number, examination number, and all. So all these are what we refer to as record or tuple. Then also we have data value. Data value, domain or cell. Sorry, I didn't explain that. I didn't define that, but let me just quickly explain it right now. So data value, domain or cell. In Excel, cell, each cell is what we refer to as domain or data value. Okay, let's quickly look at this table. Look at from this table that you have here. Sorry. From the table you have here. Sorry. Let me. So look at this table. What I refer to as, let me get active Inspire so that I can use it to write some things there. Let this active Inspire load so that I can just use to point some things to you, It's all right. Wow, okay. It's not writing. So as I said, each like school ID that is down, then last name if you bring down, then first name, address, and date of birth is supposed to be DOB. Sorry. So date of birth is what referred to, each one of them is what refers to as attribute, field, or column. Then each line that is row like this, each row is what's referred to as record or tuple. Then from down, if you see that red box, the red box, that is what I mean by cell. It is also called domain or data value, but the word that is mostly used here is the domain. So take note of that. Then everything here, everything on the screen is what referred to as table or relation. Is what referred to as table or relation. So that is it. Then let me just quickly summarize let me summarize everything by saying that uh, data is ambiguous and important. That is, it's very important. That is, there can never be what we call information. There can never be what we call information if you don't have data. There can never be what we call soup if you don't have leaves, egusi, pomo, stockfish, and all. So as a result of that, each one of those things, they are very important for us to have soup as information. So a database is a collection of related data. So database is used to manage this database. Database is a collection of related data, and database is used to manage this data. So take note of that. Then a database consists of primarily of a table. That is the most widely used. We have different kind of database, different types of database, uh, and it's informed. The most widely used is relational database. It is relational database. Relational database is a table database. That is the table format database. So that's why I said a database consists primarily of tables. A table consists of records that is row in a table. Attributes are column in a table, also called field. Please, I want you to take note of this. And I have classwork here. Classwork. Let me share the screen of the classwork. Here. Like for instance now, if you uh if you want to answer anyone, that is number one. From number one, if you are to answer from number one, I just want you to type your answer. Like for instance, is a collection of interrelated data arranged in a manner that allow access, retrieve, and use of data is called what? So can anyone answer that? Number one. Can anyone answer that? Number one. One is B, database. Thank you. That's Fuad. Thank you. Is a collection of interrelated data. Is not A. Fixer. Is not A, is data. Then is database. Is not A. Is not data, is database. Thank you. Then number two, a group of related records. A group of related records is called what? Number two. Number two, D. D. A group of related records, character, database, file, field, record. But first of all, let me just quickly show you your assignment, because why we are doing this, there might not be time for us to finish it up. So I just wanted to get your assignment first. Then when you get it, if you get it, I will just continue with the classwork. So this is your assignment, and you can see the email you are going to submit the assignment to. That is ogungss3@ntic.edu.ng. ogungss3@ntic.edu.ng. And the assignment is, what is database? In a tabular form. In tabular form, state the difference between file system of storage and database management or database system of storage. File system of storage and database systems of storage. Let me just add that. Storage. Sorry, I'm using capital letter. Then storage. So in tabular form, state the differences between file system of storage and database system of storage. What is database management system? I explained that earlier, but I just want you to say something, preferably something new about it. Also, I want to give me 10 examples of database management system. I mentioned 3 earlier, which is Microsoft Access, MySQL, and SQL. So I want you to get me more examples. And the reason why I'm doing this is, even if I mention everything, if I mention more than what I mentioned earlier, there are still some strange ones. That's why you are in your exam. It's They might give you something different from what I have. Although we're still going to talk about this. Okay. So quickly get down your assignment so that you can proceed to the question. And mind you, the questions that I shown to you earlier, the objective questions, all these questions are extracted from your past questions. I extract all the questions. I think I have like 12 questions there. There are more than that. These ones that I'm showing you right now, as in the one I showed to you earlier, that is the objective, I think is just from a particular year, which is maybe 2015 or so. So who knows if they can still repeat the same thing. So as a result of that, let's take those questions, let's take them serious, okay? So this is your assignment. I believe that has been taken. Thank you. Then let's go back to the question. So number two, a group of related records is called what? Please, you can you can put in a chat. If you need to write in notes, let me talk to the IT man if there is a way we can send you guys the lesson notes. But I believe you guys supposed to have screenshot. For those of you that are using system, there is what we call sniping tool on your system. Sniping tool on your system, you can quickly use that, to screenshot the the screen so that you will not need to be waiting for the notes while we send it to you. So at least you, as we are explaining now, you will be getting the note as well. So send the screenshots for me. Please send the screenshots. I really don't have. Okay, I will see what I can do about that. Okay. So let's continue with the question. A group of related records is called what? Anybody? A group of related records. A group of related records is called what? If you remember, record is each row. Record is each row. Each row. A record is each row. Then if you now have rows, as in if the rows are much, as in if you have up to like 1,000 records, we can call that a database. So the answer for that is also B. Then number three, the following are functions of database management system. That is arranging data file, creating data file, querying data stored in a data file, reporting data, storing data. Which one is the answer here? Which of the following are functions of database management system? Okay, someone choose B, creating. All right. Then database management system is defined as what? Then what's the answer? Number four. Can anyone try that? Number four. E, someone pick E, organize terms of field and records. Number three. Okay. I'll send that. The following are functions of database management system. Storing data, reporting data, querying data stored in a data file. I think the question is not complete. The answer should be C, except there should be except there. The following are functions of database management system, except. Sorry, the question number three is not correct. It's not complete. It's correct, but it's not complete. Data file is like file system of storage. You cannot use database management system to query data file, to query file system of storage. So number three, there is except there. There is except there. So the number four, database management system is defined as. So I will get, when you resume, if you are back to school, I'll try to make this available. Also, I'm still compiling, so I will compile everything, related to this particular topic. I mean, your past question related to this particular topic. I will compile everything. When we resume back, I will, get that. We are going to work with that. Okay. Let's. If you have question, I have 3 minutes left. I will unmute you, not except you have question. I will unmute you. If you have question, I will unmute you and ask a question. Okay? Who just raise up your hands? Gideon, right? So hold on. Gideon, the system refused to unmute you. What happened? Anyone else? Anyone else? Raise up. Let me see your hands up if you have question. Okay, Gideon, you can talk now. Gideon, you have question?
Yes.
You say what? Gideon? Oh, sorry, the network is quite bad there, I think. So any other person, if you have question, let me see your hands up. Any question? Abdurrahman? Hold on, let me unmute you. Right, again is slower. I want him to ask question. The network is not too good. It's okay. The assignment I gave you, try to send to that mail. I have 2 minutes left. Don't forget everything we said about database. Database is just raw facts that does not convey any meaning. It does not convey any meaning, but despite the fact that it's conveying no meaning to us, it's still very, very, very important. Because without
So
data,
can you put it back to slide 10?
slide 10. Did you screenshot or what are you doing? Do you want to write? Okay, hold on. Slide 10. All right. Slide 10. Yeah. All right. Do you have any question here concerning this? Abdurrahman, do you have any question concerning this?
No, sir, I meant to say slide 12. The assignment.
Okay, the assignment. Quickly copy that. I have 1 minute left. 1 minute. And don't forget to copy the email you send the assignment to. ogunjss3@ntic.edu.ng is on the screen at the bottom. So ogunjss3@ntic.edu.ng. Okay. Have you done that? Abdurrahman.
So I can.
You saw what?
I'm through.
All right,
I'm
thank
through.
you. To all of you, thank you very much. This will be the end of the class.
We do not have sense.
By God's grace, we will continue with this next time, probably next week. Okay? Or for those of you that will be coming to Ikeja, we will try to, quickly go through it, then go move to another topic. Okay, but for those of you that you are still unable to come, don't worry, it will be available online. Okay? Have a nice day.